Hey, what's up everyone? So there were two big movie releases this weekend, and that was Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and Ambulance, the latest and greatest from Michael Bay. So I had a chance to watch both of them, and here are my quick thoughts. The first Sonic the Hedgehog movie was such a major surprise to me, especially since I was very hesitant when that movie came out. A friend of mine recommended it, and I watched it and I really fell in love with it. And I would say that it's probably one of the better video game adaptations out there. Now, usually when it comes to sequels, yeah, you hit or miss depending on the franchise. Walking into Sonic the Hedgehog 2, I was wondering, okay, how is this movie gonna mess up? And I'll say this, it didn't really mess up because I saw it in a theater full of kids on a weekday afternoon, and all of them ate it up. They loved it. In fact, they gave a huge applause at the end of the movie. I heard little kids walking out even saying things like, that was the best movie I've seen in my whole life, which is what this movie does perfectly. This is the perfect kids movie. If you are a hardcore fan of the Sonic franchise, then you will probably get a real good kick out of it too. Why? Because they did their best to cram in as much game references in this movie, even more so than the first one. However, that was my problem, and I think that's what kind of hurt the movie in a way for me. And I'm looking at it more in a movie sense, not so much of a enjoyment, nostalgia, kind of throwback kind of feeling that I'm getting, because yeah, I appreciated a lot of the things that I was used to in playing the video games and all that. However, in a movie sense, it was really more focused on the childlike humor, all the little cheesy corny jokes that were there. Granted, there are a lot of like innuendo type jokes where they, instead of saying the word shit, they found little ways of how saying it in a kid-like way, which I thought was kind of cute and adorable. My problem is that I felt like some of the original charm was gone from the first movie, and what was the major point of that was a lot of the Sonic and human interactions, especially with the James Marsden character. That's what gave it a lot of heart, a lot of great connection there. Most of the dialogue and communications between Sonic and him was done through phone or video chat. So I felt like it was kind of removed, and I was kind of missing a lot of that. There were two major eye roll moments for me, and that involved a crazy long dance battle sequence and unfortunately the ending boss battle, which was a little bit way over the top, and that's poorly handled as far as a movie making sense. Jim Carrey was still Jim Carrey from the first one, and I would say I really liked it. However, I just think there wasn't enough maybe, and I felt like I could have used a little bit more of that. However, he did what he did, and if this turns out to be maybe one of his last movies in a while based off what he said recently, then good job. We got the Jim Carrey we all love. Now, as for the extra characters, just like in the games, I think Tails was a little bit annoying. That's how I felt like when I used to play the video games, but like I said, all the kids loved it. However, the standout for me was Knuckles. I thought Knuckles was a perfect character. The way that he was voiced by Idris Elba was fantastic. He really had like that great camaraderie and chemistry with Sonic when they faced head to head and all that. And I love the fact that they kind of gave him like the Drax personality, where he took everything very literal, because he's basically like a fish out of water. He's not familiar with like all the terms and all the phrases that us in the world would say. So you see him like really enjoying learning these new things, when they finally, spoiler alert, they all became friends at the end, right? But I did love the fact that he was this really refreshing presence, especially since a lot of the movie was focused on Sonic and Tails and their budding relationship. It was nice to see that he brought a different dynamic on the table. And yes, at the end we got a nice little surprise with a little reveal about what's to come in Sonic 3, which we all know at this point will probably happen, because based on what they're projecting for the weekend, Sonic is gonna do wonders for the box office. I ain't gonna reveal who it is right now, but it is a prominent figure in the Sonic franchise, and of course all you internet sleuths out there, if you want to know for yourself and you haven't seen the movie, you'll be able to find out very easily. So was it entertaining? Sure. to a certain extent. Maybe just not for me. Maybe I'm just not that core audience. And it really was a perfect movie for kids. So if you are around kids or if you have kids on your own, this is definitely a perfect movie to take them to watch. However, I do still think the first one is much better than this one. But that being said, that doesn't mean that this movie was any bad. Just didn't work for me. The other big release this weekend was Michael Bay's Ambulance. And this is probably one of the most Michael Bay-ish movies ever. I mean, of course, you will go watch a Michael Bay movie and the one thing you're expecting is the explosions, the tense car chase scenes, the circling, panning camera shots, right? And that's all there and present. However, I do feel like this is one of the movies where he really displays how full of himself he is. The reason why I say that is because two of his own characters in the movie reference two of his other movies. You could also tell that Michael Bay really fell in love with a particular camera usage. Let's just say that there's tons of drone shots in this movie. So much so that it felt like every other scene was a drone shot. It's as if I pictured him on set be like, wait, we could do that with a drone? Give it to me all. And he was just like, drone this, drone that, drone over there, drone it all, baby. Now, if you don't know what the premise of the movie is, and you probably didn't watch the trailer, or if you did and you're still confused, well, let me put it to you briefly. Just imagine seeing a sibling rivalry and family drama all played out during a botched bank robbery / turn hostage situation / turn them trying to do their version of Speed with a mixture of heat in it. Michael Bay style. Boom. There you go. Explosion. I will say, though, that the acting in this movie was actually really good. Yahya Abdul-Mateen was really good at playing the victim of the movie. You know, the one that kind of caused the events to go into motion because of his need. Because of him in need of some extra financial assistance going to his brother. Yes, that's right. Him and Jake Gyllenhaal are brothers in this movie. And they explain it while you watch it. But going to his brother to kind of ask for assistance and his brother coming up with this crazy scheme to get that money. It's all plays out in the trailer, you know what I mean. But I think he did a really good job. Jake Gyllenhaal, you could tell, was having so much fun in this movie. He was over the top, crazy, a little bit psychotic maybe, but I thought he was just brilliant. However, the breakout star in this movie, surprisingly for me, was Eiza Gonzalez. When I last saw her in Godzilla vs. Kong, and I thought she was one of the weakest characters in that movie. In fact, I thought her character was really absurdly annoying. However, in this movie, she was brilliantly cast as the EMT worker that we've seen in the trailers. I think her personality and character really played out perfectly in this role. You know, being the no-nonsense, quick on her feet EMT, not being afraid to back down, not being afraid to get mixed up in the middle of things. She really shared a lot of the heart, and interesting to say that at the end, she kind of came out on top as probably one of the more important main characters of the whole film. Now, of course, with any other Michael Bay movie, you're not expecting a full in-depth plot, nothing mind-blowing, nothing that you will start conversations or 1.5 hour long talks about a week after you watch the film. However, I will say one of the major issues I had with this movie was that there was way too much exposition. I felt like there were certain dialogue scenes, certain conversations that just went on way too long. A lot of the movie takes place in one particular area, whether it's in the bank or in the ambulance itself, so you feel already constricted. So to see like overdrawn dialogue or too much conversation or background story or too much reasoning as to why I think this way or why we should do this or I'm this way because of that or I don't know if I could do what you want me to do, it's a little bit too much. I mean, come on, let's just get to the explosions and the fighting scenes and the gunfire and all that stuff that we bought a ticket for. But at the end of the day, it was really quite enjoyable, and it's a perfect movie to just sit down and watch with your bucket of popcorn and just shut your brain off and just enjoy the chaos that just kind of ensues in front of you. This is the movie if you're into heist movies, if you're into like those Fast and Furious type movies with really intense car chases, if you're a big fan of Speed, if you're a big fan of the movie Heat, like I said, this is a perfect Michael Bay conglomerate of all of that stuff. And I think it's just one of those perfect escape movies. Will I think it's going to do gangbusters in the box office? Probably not, because it looks like Sonic 2 is going to win this weekend. But it is something that's still worth watching, although I wouldn't blame you if you just decide to wait until it's available for streaming. That's all I got to say about these two movies. Again, if I were to choose which one was the most enjoyable one for me, I would have to say Ambulance, because again, Sonic 2 is perfect for the kids. Didn't really hit and resonate with me, and Ambulance was just like perfect, action flick that I was just like mind numb watching. So out of the two, obviously I would pick that one, but I am very interested to hear what all of you think, because like I always say, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I think. I love to hear what all of you think. Any of these two movies something that you're interested in watching? Have you seen any of them already? Let me know in the comments all your thoughts about that, all your thoughts about anything I may have said. As always, don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed this. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that notification bell to get notified for future uploads. Stay cool, stay classy, stay safe, and I'll catch all of you in the next one.